moving on to the serious stuff.
Dun, dun, dun.
Why'd you put so dramatic?
Yeah,
Serious stuff.
This is a podcast, man. We gotta make it entertaining for the people.
You gotta zoom in on that one. You said.
Right.
Do you want to like coin this one?
Man, I mean, I guess we can all pitch into this together. So basically, like everybody else knows, there's a lot of protests going on in the world right now due to the George Floyd murder, due to police brutality. And it's not just that murder. There's also it's escalated to the tipping point with that murder. But previously in the last month, especially this last month, there's been Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor. It was the guys who were
Sean Reed.
Yeah, Sean Reed. Not just them getting murdered, but also the people who are getting harassed. You can't go out and bird watch near the lake no more without white people threatening to call the police on you.
Yeah.
You can't. What's another? The guy who's a delivery driver to his neighborhood. He can't, or not his neighborhood, but somebody paid him to deliver his.
DoorDash driver.
Or not a DoorDash driver. It's some adjacent to UPS, but he's delivering off a package, and so they blocked his truck in and asked him, "What are you doing here?" You know what I mean?
That's crazy.
It's things like that where we're being targeted, not just by police, but also by people. And it's so frequent in this last couple of days to where it's making everybody sick.
Yeah.
You know.
And don't forget about the black man that was killed in Louisville like 2 days ago.
Yeah, I heard about that.
That was tragic, man. It's
no body cams on the cops, of course.
And I heard that like they turned off the cell towers or something, like so people couldn't record or something in some particular
his body
area.
was laying there for like 12 hours or something.
But that's
crazy.
nuts.
Or 8 or 12 hours.
Like it's really starting to get crazy.
Yeah, it shows you that our lives hold no value. Apparently, to the country and to most of the people, our lives hold no worth, no value. It doesn't need unless we make noise, we're not listened to and we're not acknowledged, and it really sucks. So what happened this past weekend? I'm not sure how it originally got started or organized, but somebody posted a Facebook group for everybody to come down to Indianapolis and have a protest by Monument Circle. It's called Circle Square, whatever. Yeah. But Christy and I, and also Quincy, shout out to Quincy, we all went to that together. A friend of the show, my buddy Cyrus, he went earlier. We ended up going late, but at the beginning of the protest, there was a lot of speeches, a lot of walking, a lot of talking, a lot of positiveness. By the time Christy and I showed up, it reached a point where they started marching. The city of Indianapolis gave them to about 4:37 to finish their protesting, and then they're sitting and whatnot at the monument itself. And so then they're like, okay, we got the crowd, we got the people, we got the attention. Let's start marching along the major streets. We're gonna stop traffic and get people's faces and have our voices be heard. And at first it started out pretty well. Chrissy and her siblings couldn't stay very long. I decided to stay longer because Quincy was on the way, and we're gonna say, hey, we're gonna ride this out for the rest of the night, see how it progresses, see what happens. And I have people telling me like, oh, be careful or leave, because there's been rumors of riot gear, police and riot gear in either nearby cities or nearby towns preparing to move on to downtown. And so it was cool, and it was a very positive environment for the first hour and a half, 2 hours that we were marching. But by the time it got to 8 or 9 o'clock, whatever between 8 and 9 o'clock, where the sun was finally going down, it was finally getting late. That's when the police came out with their shields, their guns, and the tear gas. And at first they started pushing people around because we're kind of spread out in different groups along the city, and people started retaliating. When you start making people move, the tension, the aggression starts escalating. Yeah. And so one side doesn't want to move, the other side is going to try to make us move. And so the pushing turned into shoving from the protesters, people throwing water bottles, and people throwing, like, they had, the biggest weapon they had was fireworks. They were just throwing, like, massive fireworks at the police, trying to attack them back. And when that started, the window breaking started, and then the police had, that was the reason to start opening fire as far as rubber bullets go. I was not in the front lines. I knew what was about to happen. Tear gas started raining, and I was way in the back, because after the first round of rubber bullets started going off, me and Quincy started seeing people's bullet holes, like legitimate bullet holes, like bleeding out. Like one guy, we saw one guy, his hand was punctured. And thank goodness, and shout out to the people who were there who were brave enough to bring their medical supplies, who were either EMTs or people who were trained in CPR, because they had all their equipment and their gear to help out everybody with a wound, and they were on it. They were pulling everybody out the front line who either got tear gas or a shot, and they were just wrapping them up right away, trying to get them to safety. So it went on like that for a long time. Everybody kept trying to regroup. The police ended up corralling us into a center of town and locking us down in a perimeter. And then that's when they started raining more tear gas on us to the point where I just had to disperse in different pockets. And so the big group got turned into smaller groups, and the police that weren't in riot gear, that's when they started picking us off individually. So at that point, Quincy and I was like, okay, it's getting chaotic, fires are breaking out, and glass is being broken. It's time for us to go. And so we left, but by the time I got home to Christy's place, that's when the articles started coming out, like live rounds started being used either by the police or by other protesters who brought their guns. There was a lot of protesters who brought their weapons. Nobody knows who shot first, but there's at least 7 or 8 confirmed cases of fatal wounds due to gunshots. I'm not sure if everybody made it or not. I'm not sure if they're all confirmed dead, but at least one was confirmed dead. So that's what went down in Indy. That's what happened in Indy downtown today. Your boy got pepper sprayed twice. Not fun. Don't recommend.
Bad, man.
Yeah.
That's crazy talk, dude. But like, it does seem like we're making a loud noise out there.
Oh, we're making a ruckus.
Like, if they're not listening to us now, then they will never listen to us. So,
Yeah, for sure.
and you go down Instagram, it's all blacked out. Like, that's the first time I've ever felt like a small bit of hope. Like, it seems like everybody's finally somewhat on the same page, even if people are just kind of like jumping on the bandwagon.
Yeah.
Like, that's still more than the people who aren't doing anything. So like,
Exactly. Or
It's
either
just-
counteracting it.
yeah, exactly. So I don't know. It feels kind of good. I'm really sad for all the people who are getting hurt for sure, but
Yeah.
what has to happen has to happen. So
And what the saddest part is that there will be casualties, and like you can't escape that, man. Which what makes it harder for there are people who are brave enough to go to these places, you know what I mean? But a lot of us, like for me personally, I thought like Indianapolis won't escalate to that point. We're a major city. We're not that
People
major
sleep
of a
on
city.
Indianapolis, I'm telling you.
And the police is just there like, well, like just
I mean, they don't need a reason to hurt people.
no.
So we just gave them one, you know?
Yeah.
I think I want to see what happens next, though. I know that the protests are good and it's great because we're getting our voice being heard. But I want to know what happens. Like, who's gonna make a change? Like, okay, who says, all right, I hear you. Let's do this. Like, what do you guys want? Like, how can we help more?
Yeah.
And, like,
It'd be nice to hear from the president, but that will never
That's not
happen.
gonna happen.
So it would have to be something below that, like
Make
a
some
governor
bills,
or a
you know,
mayor or
some
something.
bills, something else that like gets things into motion and action.
Well, first they gotta arrest the other 3 police
Definitely,
officers. Like,
definitely.
yeah.
why has that never happened yet?
Yeah, unfortunately, I think I would hate for this to happen, but I truly believe that something insane, extremely crazy is going to happen
That's what I'm
to where the government is like, oh shit, alright,
Yeah.
let's lock these niggas up, let's create these laws for these people. I don't know what it's going to be,
It's gotta be something crazy.
but it's gonna have to be something crazy that they
Yeah.
cannot ignore.
Yeah.
Or try to use like propaganda to create such a divide, because we have so many people that are like, all lives matter, Black lives matter, loot, don't loot. Like, there's so many different things
Why
that
are
are
you guys
separating
rioting?
people, and we're forgetting about the big picture. I'm sorry, I'm
Yeah.
getting pissed, but I'm just like, you guys are putting so much emphasis on protesting against looting and not like emphasizing
Why any of this is
why any of this is happening.
Yeah.
We would not have looting if hundreds of Black men weren't being fucking shot by the police. We would not.
It's true.
We would not have protests if all this shit was if we would have made an example out of George Zimmerman,
Yeah.
Oh, dude, yes. Oh my God.
this shit would not be this level of disaster.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and please don't be one of those people that responds to Black Lives Matter posts with "but" and "well, why." You know, don't do that.
Dude, like, honestly,
Yeah,
just
honestly.
shut the up. You're gonna have to use a lot of bleeps for this. But if you don't have positive shit to say, or if you're not standing with us or joining, like fighting with the cause, and just shut the up.
There's no point.
I'm
in
sorry.
anything. Yeah, it's silly. Like, you can think whatever you want. Everybody thinks things, but when you go to the point and like speak out against like a huge movement like this, like you just look stupid and uninformed.
Yes.
So
And
you're gonna get shut down.
it's insane, like the level of ignorance that I have seen in the past week. I cannot even emphasize it enough. Like, I cannot believe there are so many people that are this uneducated and like so closed-minded, rude, racist, sociopathic. Honestly, if you're lacking this much empathy, you're a sociopath. I'm sorry.
Plain old ignorant, honestly.
It's crazy.
So, how many friends blocked or unfriended you guys today? Because I had I've had a few.
I don't know. I haven't checked.
Yeah, I've had a few. The baby.
I don't know how do you know that. How do you know?
Well, I mean, I know on Snapchat you can see like when you have people look at your story that aren't your friends anymore. Like I recognize people.
Others now.
I was like, I saw some guys. Like, there's people who I've hung out with on my birthdays before in the past. I worked with them at the bars. I've seen them at a party with them, and now they're an other. And it's like that's sad to see. You know?
That's crazy.
But I mean, it's like the harsh reality. Like, unfortunately, most of the people that we surround ourselves with that are of the opposite color, they only want to participate in black culture. But when it comes to actually fighting with us, when it comes to actually being black, everybody wants to go silent. And it turns into all lives matter at that point. But weren't you just listening to Future's mixtape last week?
True.
Weren't you just going so hard for J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, all these f***ing rappers? But when it comes to actually doing the shit that these people rap about, then it's all lives matter. I cannot with people.
Bro, the world will cry.
I feel like a lot of people are just saying that because they think that we don't care about everyone else. Like, that's not the point of any of this. The point is that we just want to feel like human beings. So that's the issue at hand. We're not saying nobody else matters right now. We're just saying, like, we're getting killed and we just want to matter too.
Yes.
Right.
And it's like, I've had this conversation with so many white people to the point where I'm literally breaking it down, like, in toddler terms. And I'm just like, the fact that I have to actually even break it down like this and fucking fruits and vegetables, literally, to get you to understand 50% of what the fuck the point is it's just mind blowing to me because they truly don't give a fuck.
And honestly, please,
they truly don't give a fuck.
And stop using the riots as an excuse for why we shouldn't be doing this or like I saw a Facebook post of like, once you start rioting, you lose your argument. I'm like, how do we? So we just gotta sit down and take it now because a couple people are rioting. And also, regarding the riots, there's a lot of like, of course, this happened like. Some are started by undercover police. Some are started by people from outside the state. Some are started by some white people. Like, when a riot breaks out, yes, commotion happens. It's all chaos breaks loose. It's hard to control what's happening, and it's just absolute no order whatsoever. But when it comes to the riots, it's like buildings and companies are insured and can be replaced. Lives cannot be, as well as. I think we've done a great job because I know there's been a couple of local businesses that did catch the crossfire. But a lot of celebrities, a lot of like Black Lives Matter leaders have done a good job. Social media especially have done a good job at GoFunding these businesses, and they've gotten way more money than they've gotten in the last couple of years or last couple of months from quarantine, dude.
Someone only had $100,000 in damages. They raised like $600,000 for this one business.
Right.
So I'm just like, come on now. With the power of social media and everything that we have, these things can be replaced.
I think it's really shown like how much power we truly do have that we just don't use properly ever.
Yeah, so don't use the like why are you guys riding? It's like, we're riding for a purpose. Sorry that we didn't go and flip cars over and go tear down buildings because your favorite team lost at the Super Bowl. Or whatever.
I saw those comparisons. It's like people go nuts over the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It wins over.
Win a championship, like they burn the entire city down.
Exactly.
Like, you just won a game.
That's it.
Like,
You didn't play. You
weren't even there.
Right. Your life wasn't on the line.
Did you get a bonus contract for winning this game?
You didn't. It's crazy, bro.